Yo, 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 it's your boy Zay Don. We back at it again with another episode of Inspired Empire podcast. Today we got my friend, my mentor, Ciolo. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Uh, well, my name is Ciolo, but everybody know me as Solo. So I'm I don't know. So, I'm Polynesian. I'm Samoan. I'm an immigrant. Been living in the United States since 1980. Grew up in South Central. Moved out here in like '89. Um, you know, between California and Salt Lake, that's been my two homes. But I got a wife. My wife, I got a daughter. She's 16. Her name is Saila. Uh, I got a close knit Polynesian family, in Salt Lake, and a diverse group of friends. Um, you know, uh, that's really it. Really, other than that, I just trying to live my life, and lately I've been trying to get back to my community. So it's brought me to this point, to your podcast, and you know
Want to get back?
yeah, just kind of a give back.
I feel you.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel you, man. What brought you to Utah?
Man, it's funny. Uh, so yeah, so in 1980 we came from Samoa, and so uh, we came right into the neighborhood, meaning we were right in South Central in the little neighborhood of Linwood, which was the city right next to Compton. And so when we came in 1980, the neighborhood was infested with gangs. It was just the start of gangs. And so I was heavily involved. My older cousins were in gangs, and so the whole neighborhood, where you were either in a black gang or a Mexican gang, or there was some Samoan gangs.
Okay, yeah, I was just about to ask. So, like, when that happened, was it just like you was instantly like, what did they consider you as? Was they like you black or was it like,
So check it. When I came, I have never seen anybody other than Samoans.
Yeah.
So when I got here, I didn't even know what a black dude was.
Right.
I didn't even know what a Mexican was.
Right.
I knew what a white dude was because whenever I saw them in the islands, we was little jungle kids, man. We chased them around the island, just kind of following them around. But that was all I knew. You know what I mean? But when I got here, man, I was turned out, bro. I saw the America, and
It was it.
that was it. I went to the store first day I was here. No lie, I go in the store with my cousin, and I ain't never seen a roll full of just candies. And so my cousin, he neighborhood dude, man. He look at me, start eating the candy bar, and my ass don't know no English. I just grab that candy bar. I'm stealing the first day, dog.
Just from the get-go.
Just from
right
the
off the
get.
bat.
So right away, I'm like, oh, this how it is out here. I get back to the house. We have a big barbecue that weekend for us being there. Mexican dude down the street, he got one of them skateboards. I ain't never seen a skateboard. The scooter where you could hold up here. This is 1980. I ain't never seen that before. Man, I just said, hey, let me use that. I didn't know no English, but he never seen that mug again, dog. He came and asked me at the end of the day. He was like,
say nope, you ain't getting that back.
so
You ain't
yeah,
getting
man.
that
I
back.
mean, I loved it here. Basically, America turned me out my first day, and so, but like I said, man, as soon as I got here, it was different. I was in the neighborhood, and it was different. It wasn't, you know what I mean?
I feel you. How was like your transition from Cali to Utah?
It was bad, bro. So bad. I left there to get away. My family didn't know I came here. I came here with one of my big homies. He came out here, and he gave me a sack of rocks, some crack, and left me here with my cousin. And I had a strap, and I stayed with my cousin, and I was gonna sell these rocks. It didn't work out that way. Long story short, I have family out here anyway. So I just transitioned my lifestyle from over there to over here. So when that money ran out, that crack money ran out, my homie was gonna give me some. I got sick of waiting. I started taking from the neighborhoods. But over here, it's the suburbs. You feel me? So usually I just take what I want. Well, I was doing that here, but they was knocking at the door like, your nephew took the radio out of my dad's truck.
I feel you. I feel you, bro.
Because I'm culture shocked right now,
Right.
and I'm 15 years old over here, and I'm straight out of Compton, just like out here, like, what's up, kid? I got kicked out of school first day for beating up on a kid for making fun of my braids. I mean, it was
So it
rough.
was just like you just went full throttle.
Oh
That's
man,
what
I
you
was
got
out here. Ain't nobody. I was listening to NWA. Nobody even knew what it was.
Damn.
They
So
were
you
like,
was
"What is that?"
You was like a kid in the candy store.
Oh, bro.
Pretty much out here.
Man, ask around in West Valley back in 1989, bro. Solo, I was running wild out here.
As far as the podcast, man, I know you had something that you wanted to talk about. You told me that you wanted to peel back some layers. Tell us about the topic that you want to talk about.
Oh man,
bring to the table.
it's funny you say that because what I'm saying right now is it's funny looking back and what I'm talking about. About being like in the streets and like growing up the way I did. It's funny to look back at it, but really that life and those choices, bro, and that glamorization, I guess, that it led to some choices that I made, and I those choices I passed on to people like my little brother, and that life, it ended my brother's life. Those choices that I made, and so really, as I'm laughing about my life as it was back then, but it was really a bad example that I set for my brother, and that's really what I want to change. Is make better choices and just kind of tell why I feel like my brother's death is just was a beginning of a transition in my life to kind of I don't really know what it is. It's just like my brother kind of guides me.
I feel you.
So
Like, because I remember when it happened, you know what I'm saying? Because we played on the same football team. So I remember, were you and your brother like this? Like, you guys were just best friends? Like,
we were big bro, little bro. You know what I mean? So I was that big bro. Was like, this how you need to be. This how you need to act. Don't be doing that bullshit. Yeah, but he wasn't in that life like I was. And I was trying to make sure he wasn't in that life. But he saw me in that life. And like, as much as I told him not to do it, he saw me actually do the opposite. I mean, the way he died, he got shot on the street. And it was over a fight because he didn't want to back down from a gun. And I can't help but think that he's watched me in that same situation, except they bow down. This dude didn't bow down, and he shot my brother. And so I can't help but think that he just did. If you can imagine, it's broad daylight. It's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, intersection, bunch of cars. He's out in the open like, what's up? Talk your shit now. And the dude's like, get on the ground. I could just see my brother. And from all I witnessed, my brother was like, kill me, fuck you. That shit right there, that's me. He seen me like, what's up? Fuck you.
I feel you, man. As far as your brother's death, like, what do you feel like could have changed that? Do you think it's just the way you acted? Do you think you could have guided him, or do you think it was just he was hot-headed?
I think it's a little bit. I think so. Our mom was a big factor in our life, and my mom was a very passionate lady, man. And she was a fighter, physically and mentally, And the one thing we both learned from my mom, we both had her temper, but at the same time, she also taught us to stand up for ourselves. And so these generational type of coping mechanisms sometimes don't always work, you know, and I think it's because we don't have a place to vent. You know, we don't have a place to say, hey, you sure I want to do this? I mean, you know, are you sure that that's the only way to handle that situation? Could I walk away? I want to walk away? But he's never seen anybody walk away. All he's seen was like, what's up?
Pretty much. Yeah, man. Cause I ain't gonna lie, I got the same problem. So like, and I think that's important that, especially young men at an early age, that they get told it's okay to vent, it's okay to express yourself, it's okay to back down from situations that don't make you a punk. It's okay, you smart. Like, cause for me, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not the type to back down, but now that I have a son, I gotta think before I do. Cause like there is time when I won't beat somebody's ass. I ain't gonna lie, but at the same time, I'm like, man, what if this dude pull out a gun or something? Or, you know what I'm saying? And it's just those little things. And I think it was really important that I had my dad in my life, because it was like, my dad would tell me, he's like, man, you got to be careful. Because I would tell him, like, Dad, I beat this dude up. Like, and I think it was funny and shit. Because me coming from the hood, and I came to Utah, I'm like, I thought that shit was funny. I'm like, yeah, I beat this dude's ass today. I tell him the story. He'd listen to it. He'd laugh with me. But at the same time, he'd be like, man, you got to be careful. Because he was like, one day, somebody you gonna do that to the wrong person. They're gonna come back with a gun, and yeah. So,
and see, I never, to be honest, listening to you, my dad was an immigrant dad, so he spent most of his time trying to get rent paid, and his brother was, you know, his older brother, he's running the street, and so just to hear you say that, my brother never heard that, because I never told him that. All I ever told him was like, hey, handle your shit.
And it's one of them things, man, because he told me that, and I still just did whatever I want. I'm like, man, ain't nobody gonna do shit.
But I guarantee you that thing was in the back of your mind, though.
Yeah, it was.
It was in the back of your mind.
There's times like where I still get in a situation, I hear my dad's voice.
Yeah.
Like, man, you chill out. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm talking about, Zay, because that's what I want to change. Because I wish my brother I wish I could have been there. Man, I was down the street, bro.
Yeah, it happened down the street from where I live.
Right, I was down the street, but we were waiting on him to come to the graduation party, and I just, man, if I could have just been there, I would have been like, hey, man, kill that shit, let's roll. Man.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry that happened, bro. For real, that's some fucked up shit. As far as you giving back to your community, how do you think? Are you using that as a healing process, or do you?
Oh man, that's it. That's really it. It's a coping mechanism. It's a way to heal. And man, for me, man, like that's that give back. Like I gotta. That's how I keep my little bro with me. And he was so much like he was free, like the people on the streets. That's why I gravitate to the unsheltered, man, because I see my brother. I'm so close when I'm out there. I see my brother out there, and then. It's just a way for me to like continue his life. And so I don't know if you noticed, but ever since 2016, I've been different. And then when you came to see me in the hospital after my stroke, I've been different. And it's just been this growth, and a lot of it is connected to my brother's death and me trying to deal with it. So yeah, man, the community deal, man, I'm loving how he's guiding me that way. You know what I mean?
That's cool. So I know, like, you got this thing called KAP. Tell us a little bit about that.
So KAP is an acronym, and it is for kindness, awareness, and positivity. And that has been like, it's actually my wife's idea. And like when I was peeling back these layers and trying to change who I was, I realized that there's these 3 life principles that's always that I have used to kind of guide decisions. Like, and if when you think about it, bro, KAP, you can deal with your situations when you look at those 3 life principles. Are you being kind to somebody? When you're talking, all right, and what I'm saying kind? Am I making them aware? Meaning, am I being honest? Or like, am I keeping them honest? Am I telling the truth? That's that awareness. And the positivity is my attitude and my energy towards this conversation, or this is it positive? And so And so I felt that every situation I had, whether when I was in a joint, I could peel back. And every friendship I made, I've created genuine friendships on those 3 life principles, man. You know what I'm saying? Is my energy KAP? If not, you know what I'm saying? And so,
Yeah, because I mean, as far as you, when I met you, he was always clowning on me. But I knew it was love because it was just
So-
like, it was more genuine. It was like,
Yeah.
man, I remember you pulling me to the side. I'm like, man, I respect you. Like, we talk a lot of shit, but I respect you. You know what I'm saying? I've always appreciated you because you, like, when I got there to the Rev, I was kind of like a wild case. So like, you kind of calmed me down. You, Ghost, all them, like being around y'all made me calm down. And shoot, I mean, as far as anyway, if I mention your name, everybody's like, man, Solo, that's a good dude. So I mean, I feel like what you're doing is working, man.
thank you.
Because I see you doing, like, you go out and feed the homeless and stuff, right? How's that like make you feel on the inside to do that?
Man, man, for real, man, it makes me, like, for real, makes me think, like, man, we got everything we need.
We still complain.
Exactly. When all my problems go away, I come home and I look at my wife or my daughter, I'm like, for real? Y'all complaining, right? And sometimes I have to put myself in check that, these people, some of them are out there by choice, but a lot of them out there by, mental illness and also drug addiction. Well, bro, I mean, like, these people have nothing. And they're some of the most free people I know, bro. And so for me, I love to see it because it keeps me grounded, bro. You know what I mean? And the connection I make with them people, bro, it's, man,
Yeah, I'll be seeing you, man. Like,
that shit is so rare, bro.
that takes a different type of, like, patience. You know what I'm saying? Because some people be like, man, get this. Like, when you think of a homeless person, you're like, man, get the fuck away from me. You know what I'm saying? But for you to, like, disregard that and be like, okay, I'm gonna just ignore all the other shit and just really try to sit down with these people and actually understand them and not judge them. That takes a lot of patience, bro.
Yeah, man, and I think it's because, man, some of them, bro, they'll go off in their schizophrenic rant, and I just try to keep my eyes focused on them, and just for a split second they'll go normal, and they'll go off, and then they'll say, man, you know what? I really appreciate you coming out here, Solo, and they'll know my name, and then they'll go off into this rant again. And I'm just like, that's really what I wanted. I wanted them to get real quick. And, man, it's just something, man, that it's real emotional for me. So, I love being out there.
I feel you. As far as with KAP, I know that you go back and you mentor kids too. As far as your kids, like, is that hard to do, or is it like one of them things like because do they ever like give you any pushback?
No. So with the VOA, the Volunteers of America, so those kids they're not like they're at risk, but they're not criminal, if that makes sense. They're not in the system. They're kind of like people whose parents are in prison. They're living with their grandparents. They're pretty good kids. They're just they just don't have that brother or that sister or that. And so what I try to do is, they're so easy, man. I mentor one kid, and then I hang out with him every 2 weeks. But me and Thomas, I'll bring him here every few weeks to get his haircut and whatnot. And then we use that time to hang out. But what I love about it is, man, you make a real impact, man.
Like, you could just feel it. Like,
you could feel it, man, because they really want. Most of these kids stay with, like, their grandparents or friends, so they don't got no structure. You know what I mean? But, man, these kids are good students. They go to school, and so we try and reward them with little group events, and then I try and take them out, use my own money. It's I don't know, man. Ever since I changed this thing about me, the universe has kind of just put these things in my path to kind of snatch up, like mentoring, helping the unsheltered. Just this podcast. So it's been rewarding, man.
And as far as your brother's passing, like, do you feel like, because I know you said you feel like he's guiding you, do you feel like at times he is, like, there with you, if that makes sense. Like he's there with you. Like you see like certain signs.
Oh man, big time, bro. Man, it's gotten so much to the point where I went and got a reading. You know, like because this ain't me. Like I don't go out on Sundays and go help people on the streets. I mean, you know, that I love to, but that wasn't my life. It's just like sometimes I just feel like a robot. But at the end, when I leave and I go home, man, it just trips me out how much I feel like my mental wellness. Like, you know, for the most part, man, you know, we deal with a lot of shit that, you know, and sometimes helping others, I've always found when you go outside of yourself, you know, that's really where you help with your depression and, you know, and all that. So, you know, a lot of it is that, but a lot of it is my brother guiding me, and, you know, and I manifested this.
I remember you talking about it. What was that? Barbecue. It was a team barbecue, and you was talking about. You was like, "Man, I got this thing." Actually, no, it was the meeting that we had.
Yes.
And we went around.
Yep.
We peeled back the layers, talked
Yep.
about what we wanted to do, and you brought up KAP, and you've been doing it, bro. So I'm proud of you for that.
Thank you.
Also, I mean, that inspired me to do what I did because I remember you passing out the
Yeah.
rocks, so I still got to rock the success rock. So
It was around that time I decided, dude, we got to do something. Dude, and I just saw, like, man, I looked around, dude, and I saw the crew we had. I was like, dude, there's a bunch of leaders, bro. Like, you know, and here we are, bro.
yeah, everybody doing their own thing.
I know, man.
Everybody.
So it's beautiful, man. So
yeah, man, I appreciate you for doing that too. Because that night, I tell Greg this and Graham, that changed all of our lives. That night changed everybody's lives, man.
that's, man.
If it wasn't for that night, I don't think none of us would be doing what we doing.
I know it was weird. There was a weird energy
It's
because
like a weird shift.
yeah, because I decided we called it Emancipation. I remember because the reason behind Emancipation, when you think about that, it's emancipating yourself, it's releasing yourself, it's, you know what I mean, and the man, we had man in there, so we were emancipating what a man was, and we were peeling back that layer, man. And man, we had like a bunch of dudes in there,
Yeah,
just
breaking down.
It was crazy.
Because you think everybody was cool because we joking around with each other at football games, but we going through it like a motherfucker.
And then we found out that, damn, some dudes up in here that's really trying to do it.
Because I remember at that time I had just went through a miscarriage and I had lost my job, bro. So it was just like when I shared that, everybody was like, damn, bro, I had no idea.
I had just lost my job.
Yeah, because I remember you saying it. It was like, bro, I was like, I'm doing these labor jobs and I fucking hate it. I wake up every day and I hate it.
I remember that.
I was like, I hate it. I was just going off, and it was just like, they was like, well, what do you want to do? I'm like, I want to be an entertainer.
I
You feel me?
remember that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm doing now.
You remember you had, even before that, you was up in the studio.
I was doing that. I had to leave that alone because I was wilding out, and I was like, if I'm gonna do this, I gotta, you know what I'm saying, do the right thing, set the right example. Because that rapping scene, it was cool, but I was actually like doing the stuff I was talking about, and it was just like, man, that ain't
because you have to get in that, like you said, you got to get in that world.
exactly.
So
And it just wasn't cool, and just being at the studio strapped, and I'm like, this ain't it, bro. Like, I don't want to keep doing this shit. Like, this shit ain't cool, man. The whole little game banging, like, this ain't
man,
for me, dog.
and look where you're at right now, bro.
I know, dog.
Your dad.
I know. So I got to set the right example for him, because I even thought about it too. I'm like, man, if I have a kid, I don't want to be like, man, my dad was gangbanging, so I'm going to do it too. Because that's how I kind of fell into it. Like, my dad, he actually was from Missouri too. He moved here through Job Corps. So, like, I was still stuck in Missouri. And I wanted to come live with my dad because I didn't like Missouri. I was getting in trouble anyway. So I moved here, and my dad would tell me the stories he would do. So I mimicked his stories. So then I started doing it. And then come to find out, I didn't really like that shit. That shit was not fun. Like, the way he made it seem like this shit ain't fun. Like, this shit is for real. Like, this ain't cool. But, I mean, he kind of guided me into a way. It was like, thankfully, I had my dad, because I hear a lot of people say, man, you lucky you had somebody tell you something. I didn't hear that. He taught me how to pay bills. He taught me hey man, you shouldn't do that. He'd be like, I know you're gonna do what you want, but you shouldn't do that.
I always think your dad would be Larry Fishburne on that movie. What was it? Was it Boys in the Hood, where he had to go stay with his dad?
Yep.
Yeah.
Literally.
I would
He was
picture your
silent
dad.
all the time.
I would picture your dad being
That was him, bro. Literally.
no, his fist.
It's like, man, you need to think before you do something. Like, cause I was just always wild and just doing something, hitting somebody or getting mad, cussing somebody out. He's like, man, you can't do that. Like, what's wrong with you? But I mean, I get it from him and my mom. They both crazy. So I'm just like, I get it from both of them, man. But as far as this KAP situation, the choices that you talk about, and the layers that you peel back, what is something that you want people to know? Like, what do you want to be the biggest conclusion of this conversation?
For me, I think for whoever's listening and watching, I want, especially men, men who look like me, men who are in that life like me, men who think like me. A lot of us, especially men my age, I'm a Gen X, and so the way we grew up a different way, and we've got to change that, because some of those ways, the way we cope with things, it's not helpful to our mental health and to the people that we love. For example, like, I'm realizing that my daughter doesn't like a male figure to be yelling in the house. So when I raise my voice, my daughter is hurt by that. And so back in my day, that is how my dad got things across. He didn't hit us, but he had a stern voice. And some men right now, some men be like, hey, that's how I talk. But for the young people, like my daughter, it's out of respect. And I have to, even though she's my daughter, I have to show her respect as a human, as an individual. And if she doesn't like me to yell, and if that hurts her feeling, that is what I'm trying to change about myself. So for any man who's listening and who's in that kind of weird space, it's okay. It's okay to be vulnerable with your child, especially with your partner. It's okay to, like, for so long, if a man was sensitive, he was weak. But that's not really true. That nowadays women think that shit is sexy. You know what I'm saying? Women want that in a man. They look for in a mate, in a partner, someone that they don't want. Not so much someone that can protect them from a boogeyman.
Somebody that can understand them, bro.
Yes.
Just listen to them.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And so it's okay to be like that, but it's also okay if you think that you can't do that. But you got to find ways to be that. Does that make sense? It'll help.
Meet in the middle.
It's gonna help your relationship. It's helped my relationship. I'm still working on it, man. I'm an old school guy who, like, isn't really emotionally sensitive that way, but I'm learning that, that's how I've got to show my love to.
Because for me right now, because it's the same thing. I struggle with opening up. Like, you can't get me to open up, even if I'm stressed. Like, yeah.
And that comes from the way we were raised by our male. Well, does that make sense?
I was more raised by my mom. So like, my mom.
Me too.
In my household, you really couldn't even express yourself. If you got in trouble, it was like, this is what I said. You can't tell me nothing. So it turned into me never saying nothing.
And that's generational.
Yeah. That is generational, and it's bad.
Yes.
Me and my mom still to this day, we get into it about it, because it's like, man, I'm 26, and she's like, man, you did this and this. And it's like, Mom, you can't tell me how to do this when that's wrong. And she's like, nah, why you talking back? And it's like,
she still wants you to be that little boy to listen. Like,
man, it's crazy, bro. Yeah. And it's like, that's why I tell my girl, like, I'm gonna break that cycle. Don't get me wrong. My son does something wrong, I'm gonna check him, but he's okay to tell me if he gets in trouble, hey, why is it this? And I can explain to him. You know what I'm saying? I think that's important, because when I would get in trouble, it was like, well, why are you bad?
That do what I do.
Yeah,
not what do what I say, not what I do. That doesn't work anymore. You've got to explain to your child.
That's what came from me beating up people and doing stuff.
Exactly.
I didn't know how to express myself any other way. So when I would get mad, I go to school mad. I'm mad as hell.
You take it out on everybody else.
I woke up and chose violence. I was mad as hell. Like,
every Polynesian will tell you that.
Yeah, man.
Polynesian kids especially, man.
That's how it goes, bro. And I think it's important that every women and men change that cycle. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some people today that would be like, man, you need to beat your kid's ass and you need to do this. Don't get me wrong, some kids do need whoopings, but like it's to a point.
And
They
so,
don't need whooping for everything.
and so that's where KAP, even in that situation, KAP comes in where when you're dealing with those situations, am I being kind to my partner? You know what I'm saying? Am I being honest? Hey, I don't appreciate you talking to me that way. I don't appreciate you disrespecting me in front of my friends. Please don't. You know, am I being positive about it? Babe, can you wait till we get home? You know what I mean? Or, hey, mama, I need you to do your homework. Like those 3 life principles have guided even my dealings with like my enemies. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's really how we can change, I think. So
I feel it. As far as KAP, how if somebody wants to do it, how would they be able to join you?
well, that's funny you say, because that night we had that Emancipation, me, Graham, and Greg, I remember we just decided that KAP was going to be a movement. It's just a lifestyle brand, like just a way to be. And so right now it's just been getting slow momentum. All I've been doing is being an example. You know, I'm not selling any merch. I'm just living that example of kindness and the work that I do with mentoring, the work that I do with the unsheltered, and the work that I do with the kids. I'm going to speak to some kids in a month. All that ties into that KAP. And so what I eventually want to do is create this resume of like work. And so when I am able to purchase merch and kind of ask for like funding for maybe a nonprofit, say, hey, I got this deal. This is what I've been doing. I'll have like this resume of work. And so in the meanwhile, I'm going to continue to push, for like to push the KAP trying to help. Right now, I'm really focusing on the youngsters with this stuff that's going on lately in our neighborhood right now in our community, where, we're trying to pit us against each other. I'm trying to see if I can get a foot in there to just try to get some dialogue, So
I mean, to wrap things up, one more question: what do you think we could do to mend that? Because it's kind of crazy right now. Like, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think we have to realize that we're all the same, bro. That like, yeah, and our cultures, bro, are the black culture and the Samoan culture are so closely tied. If you go all the way back, I mean, and we're so closely, we resemble each other. We all listen to the same music, and so for us to kind of this back and forth, bro, there's a bigger enemy. You know what I mean? And we fighting amongst ourselves. We just doing what they want us to do, man. And so I'm hoping that the community comes together, and what we can do as a community is just hold together and not divide each other.
Exactly. I feel like, because that's basically what they want us to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With the culture, I feel like there has been always kind of a little. It ain't a war, but it's just like we've always had our little push and shove with each other.
Yep.
But, man, I got Polynesian nieces, and I can't even find myself doing it. You know what I'm saying? I just can't. I can't be that person. Like, man, I can't. I don't like Polynesians. I think it's a beautiful culture. I love the people, and anybody around me, if they say something about Polynesians, I'm like, man, you need to shut the hell up.
Yeah, man.
Like, so I feel like there needs to be somebody to be a leader and step up and say that's not right and figure it out. But we don't know who's gonna listen.
Yeah,
because it's kids.
Yeah, well, see, right now I know some of the leaders in Rose Park. They're actively trying to get that community to just, hey, chill out, and so that's really I think what it is too. Social media is kind of feeding into that dumb shit, but it's still something there. And
but
so
my thing with the social media, it's not just kids doing it, it's grown-ups,
coaches. I mean, we talked about it earlier. Coaches trying to divide these same kids that they're coaching. It's sad, and like a lot of it's just we need to be more woke. We need to be, we need to be empathetic to people, man. We need to walk in other people's shoes for a mile, and
yeah, man, it's a crazy situation, man. But hopefully it all gets figured out. As far as everything, man, I appreciate you coming in, talking to me, and peeling back the layers and telling us about KAP and the choices and your brother, that's a really big step in, you know what I'm saying, doing the things that you need to do to get amends with yourself in the situation, you know what I'm saying. Anything else you want us to know before we end the pod?
I just want to thank you for the space that I could vent and tell my story, man, and hopefully touch somebody, and hopefully somebody sees your podcast and be feeling the same way.
Yeah, I'm hoping that's the goal, man.
Yeah,
I
man.
want people to come back and peel back their layers.
Yeah.
Or shit, if they got a business, anything like that, I want them
Totally.
to, you know what I'm saying, be able to do that. So,
But yeah, I want to thank you though, man, for giving me this opportunity, bro. I really appreciate that. And then, man, we need more of these conversations, bro. We really do as men. So appreciate that.
appreciate it, man. But that wraps up our podcast today. Church.